Hello, Gun Nation. Big Johnson coming at ya. How are y'all doing this evening? Let me know if y'all can hear me or see me or all that good stuff. Just let me know. Decided to kick it off 2 minutes early. We've got a little bit of a delay, so it says I've been on live for 39 seconds or something, but I don't know if that's true. So let me know if y'all can hear or see me. Should be able to be good to go. Appreciate all y'all jumping in here. Means a lot to me. 17 won't make it this evening. He's tied up, but I got some questions here, and I want to ask y'all some questions. All right, you see me. That's good. Thank you, CKM and Armsman. Any guests tonight? It's going to be me, myself, and I, or me, myself, and Billy Jack, the deer that's up there. So hopefully that'll be entertaining. But just wanted to ask y'all some questions, and let me know if y'all have any questions, because this is kind of going to be whatever y'all want to talk about tonight. So let me know if you've got some questions out there. Go ahead and throw them out there, and I will try to answer everything I can. I threw some stuff up on Instagram and the story. I've got played with a Korth today. If you've never seen a Korth, it was a Korth 44. It was awesome. And it was only $5,500 for a 44 Magnum, but it was pretty sweet. I think it's a pretty badass revolver if you're going to grab a revolver, but they're not cheap. And then been dry firing with the P10F, playing around with it, doing some mag changes and stuff like that. I was doing that a little earlier before the chat. Threw the belt on, was kind of playing around with it, and just practicing that dry fire, because we all know this ammo thing is crazy. I heard some news. I was talking to a person that is well known, or has a lot of information in the industry, and he's saying that he has heard the same thing that I've heard, that we've talked about, saying that ammo is probably going to be pretty scarce and probably getting worse. And we're probably looking until the middle of next year before things kind of get back to normal, or kind of what we know is normal. I think the pricing will for quite a while, but it is what it is. 22 is almost impossible to find. I know you can find it some places. I've seen some prices sky high on 22, and I'm just like, man, that's 22, a box of 22, and you're wanting like $40 for it. It's like double the price that it should be, because I know that particular ammo that I was looking at was normally $19.99 for the value pack. People are trying to get now $42.99 or something like that for it. But that's kind of what's going on. Now, I did have a question for y'all. If you're dealing with an AR-15 or an AR-10, do you prefer separate, like 30 round mags, or, I know in some states you can't have 30 round mags, but do you prefer a regular mag or a drum mag, like the P-Mag, what is it? And I've got both of them. I have the one for the AR-10 and the AR-15, the D60 and the D50. Do y'all prefer those, or do you prefer regular mags? Because I'll kind of tell you my opinion on that in just a second, because I've played with all of them. So yeah, I was going to say I'm stocked up on 22 also, Scott. Yeah, I mean, that's, I've probably got, man, I probably have 20,000 rounds of 22. I have a ton of 22. All right. Hey, Robin, how are you? Redbird, we have a gun show this weekend in Des Moines, Iowa. So it will be interesting to see what is available for guns and ammo. Yeah, that I've seen a lot of places being wiped out of guns and ammo. Matter of fact, I went into a local place it was yesterday, and man, they're getting kind of thin on ammo too. So, but it's still coming in, but they just don't know what exactly is coming in, like what calibers and things like that. So, one thing I haven't seen a lot of 300 Blackout. And of course, 5.56 and 9mm is getting a little scarce, but I haven't really seen a lot of 300 blackout, or really kind of 300 blackout anywhere. So 20 and 30 rounds, Frank prefers that. I have a few drums and 5.56, but mostly regular mags for the AR-10. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that I was talking about on your regular mags. And if you need mags or you need a drum or anything like that, check out the Mag Shack. They do a really great job. Their prices are super competitive. They send in stuff for testing and stuff like that. So I always recommend them, but they ship out stuff super quick if it's in stock. But, when you're dealing with a drum like the AR-10, and I put it up on Instagram a long time ago with the AR-10, or excuse me, the AR-10 mag, which is a P50 mag with 50 rounds of 308 loaded. That thing weighs 4 pounds. It's like 4.6 pounds. So it's like 4 pounds, 6 ounces or something. So it's over almost 4.5 pounds. That thing is freaking heavy, but if you deal with two mags, like 25 rounders and 25 rounders, which is the same thing, you're dealing with a lot less weight. But is it easier to load it up and just have 50 rounds on the go so you don't even have to change? Or, is changing a mag that big of a deal, for a quick replacement mag, or switching it out? Or would you just rather have a drum? Because when you are holding it and you're shooting it, you feel that weight until it, of course, gets less rounds in it. So adding 4.5 pounds to your gun or your AR or whatever, now that's an AR-10. But for your AR-15s, they are lighter, but they're still more than two mags. So yeah, 223 and 5.56 is getting hard to find also. All right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking, Scott, on some of this, to start out with a drum, and then if you need more mags, then add mags as you go. And that was kind of my thought process too. But when you're carrying it, like in my PDW bag, when I go out of town and I've got, the PDW in there, whether it be the 308 or the AR-15 and the drum, when you're carrying the drum mag in there, and then other mags, I mean, that drum mag adds a lot of weight. That's like, could be an extra 4.5 pounds in that bag, where with a couple of mags, it might be like 1.2 or 1.3. So it's like 2.6. So it's like half the weight. So if weight's a factor, that can come into play. All right. Yeah. And see, Kim, that brings up another point. And, I've kind of asked this before and kind of seen what people's opinions were. Yeah, I know, Ball. That's what I was saying. In some areas, I'm sorry, you have 10 rounds in a drum mag. That's not real great. That would suck. But what is your preference on PDWs, on like small pistol, rifle, things like that? Do you prefer a magnifier and a red dot, or do you prefer an LPVO? And I know I've asked this before, but I'm kind of, with the research that I've been doing and I've shot, rifles with scopes before, but the LPVO thing, where it goes 0 to 6 or 0 to 8 or whatever, or 1 to 8, 1 to 6, it's a little different for me. And, of course, then you can use a magnifier and a red dot. And just wanting to know what y'all's opinions are on that, because basically with the LPVO, you're going to switch it. You're really only going to use one, or you're probably going to use 6 or 8 or whatever your highest magnification is. And then with your magnifier, you're going to use your red dot and then flip your magnifier over. And if it's a 3 times, 6 times, whatever, that's the way you're going to use it. So it's kind of the same thing, but there's 2 units versus 1 unit. Do you like an LPVO where it takes up, a bunch of the rail, or do you like the compactness of the red dot / magnifier? What is your preference? Because I'm, kind of liking the red dot and the magnifier. And then, I kind of like the LPVO too, but I'm kind of digging the magnifier and the red dot. I don't know. And if you really probably weigh them all out, they might even be close to the same weight. I think that LPVO that I have, that Razor 1 to 6, I think it's still a tad heavier. I'm not sure on that. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's just a tad heavier. But, LPVO, low powered variable optic. That's what that means. balled. They just call it an LPVO for short, but it's like a 1-6 or a 1-8, you know, where you can just like use it as a red dot, or you can flip it to 6 or 4 if you want. But most people just use 1 or 6 or 8 or whatever your highest is. You can flip it back and forth. And a lot of people, you know, they'll use those, you know, the little metal rings and things like that, like the vortex rings. Y'all have seen those where you can flip them back and forth. But I got these because I have one of those scope rings, but it's got like a little tab. It's not very big. And I grabbed these breakaway coasters, you know, where it kind of gives you this big knob on the top. I don't know if y'all have ever used these. They're actually made for rod and reels. But this big knob right here, man, that thing's easy to flip over back and forth. So didn't know if y'all had any experience with those, but they're kind of old school and they're cheap, but they tend to work pretty well. So didn't know if y'all had any experience with those. But y'all have got to have some questions for me. Got to be thinking, hey, Irish, how are you, man? Yeah, I don't know if you can. Bald, can you have drum mags in your state? I'm allowed to have it, just not allowed to get caught with it. I got you. Okay. Big J, why isn't YouTube giving the notification on gun channels? That's a question that I've been bringing up. I have a lot of people, and I've been getting hit up with DMs on Instagram saying that they're not getting my notification when I send it out. Some people are saying that they get it. Some people are saying they don't get it. They don't get notifications for any of my videos. So I don't know. You know, it's YouTube, CommieTube. They're doing what they want to do. Unfortunately, we don't have any control over it, but that's probably what's going on. Matter of fact, they have even unsubscribed me from some of the normal channels that I watch. You know, I'll like, man, I hadn't seen this guy or this channel put out a video in a while. I'll go to it and it'll say I'm unsubscribed. And I'm like, I didn't unsubscribe from them, so I have to resubscribe. I mean, that's YouTube, man. They're doing all kinds of crap, so who knows? Let's see here. All right. Also, I have been dealing with a big project, and I kind of made it known before. Big project in the backyard where I've had contractors, I've had concrete guys, I've had you name it, I've had it in my backyard, and this has been going on for over a month, and it's turned into a freaking nightmare. So prior to this chat, I was out dealing with a contractor, and we were having a very loud conversation because I'm not happy about some stuff. And I'm a very patient person, but this is I've been put on the back burner, and I don't like that because I'm paying good money for this. And so anyway, I was out there letting my voice be heard. And anyway, and matter of fact, my contractor bought a 1911. He was mentioning to me, bought a 1911, and he got the gun bought it from a buddy of his, and the gun has no sights on it. So the guy took the sights off of his 1911. Now, I think he was probably going to change them to something else, but then he lost the original sights. And so I like my contractor, so I'm going to hook him up with some sights, some Heine sights for his 1911. So I've got those put in the bag. I dug them out of my parts deal. And CCAM, what am I not building? It's basically, once it's all done, I'll probably shoot some pictures and throw it up on Instagram if y'all are interested. You know, it's a huge patio steps. I had the old one ripped out, excavated and ripped out. And so doing a new one, stamped concrete, the whole works. It's pretty nice. Pillars, you know, all that stuff. So that's what's going on, but it's just turned into a crap load of stuff. He called it an optic ready. Mike High, he called it an optic ready. Yeah, I have an optic ready, or I have an optic on my 1911. So I took the standard sights off, the Heine sights. So I'm going to give him the Heine sights that I had on mine. But my 1911 STI is optic ready. And it actually has Trijicon sights that are milled for it now. So I don't need the Heine sights on that particular pistol anymore. And like I said, he needs sights, so I'm going to help him out. That's what I do. There's a lot of stuff that I send out to people that y'all don't even know about. And I don't ask for money. I just try to help other people out. So I don't advertise I do it. I just do it. So when I hear somebody needs something or they put out a thing saying, hey, where can I get this or where can I get that? If I see it and I have it, sometimes I'll just say, send me your address and I'll ship it out to you. I've done that a bunch and people don't even know it. Bald, if you come do some shit for me, I'll give you some shit. How about that? So you can come down from New York. Like I said, I just try to help out some people sometimes. A lot of the holsters that I have that maybe I have 2 and 3 of or something like that, or maybe a gun I don't even have anymore. I've given away a ton of holsters and shared those with other people that really need them. And some are not financially able to get them, and I want them to be able to carry a gun. So I'll hook them up. Hello, Havoc. How are you? This is actually a really good question. Paul H is saying, what do you think the softest shooting polymer striker fired pistol is? There's a lot. I mean, Glock, shoot. And here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be, weird, but I'm not a recoil sensitive person. I get asked this a lot, like which one recoils less, this or this gun? And I'm not recoil sensitive. I just hold the gun and I shoot it. I don't, like, oh my gosh, and it's going to be, really snappy or any of that kind of stuff. And then I'll try to give an opinion like this gun is a little perceived snappier or has a little more muzzle flip than this gun. Because one time I made the mistake of saying the P01 is snappier than the P07. And I had all kinds of people come out of the woodwork and say, P01's not snappy. You just can't handle recoil. And I was saying, I'm trying to describe it to like a new shooter. And yes, I mean, I've not the comped P07. I have 2 P07s and 2 P09s. So I'm just talking about holding the gun and shooting it. I think the P07 has less recoil or felt recoil than the P01 does. That's my personal opinion. I've had people agree with me. I've had people disagree with me. So, but people were saying it was snap, or, that I can't control a gun because it's, I think it's snappy. I really like the FN 509 a lot. I think it's a great pistol and it shoots really soft for me. The Glock 19X shoots really soft. The P10F shoots probably softer. And here's the thing, I'm just going to tell you, if you have a longer grip and you can get your pinky on it, if your pinky hangs off, it's going to feel like it shoots with more recoil. If you can get all your fingers on it and use your pinky as leverage, it's going to have less perceived recoil. So a lot of the shorter guns where my pinky doesn't hang on or hangs off, it feels like it's a little flippy. But if I can get a full grip on it, it is perceived less flippy. Because believe it or not, on your pinky, you actually use a lot of your pinky as leverage to keep the gun down. And a lot of people don't know that, but I know that. And I mean, that's what I feel. So, and some would agree, some might disagree, but that's what I think. Big J, you converted me. I'm finally off the Olight train. It's all your fault. Some people like Olight, some people don't. The only reason I've had 2 of them personally fail, I'm not trying to throw shade on them or anything like that. But when I test stuff, I've been with, I bought Streamlight way back before I started reviewing their products. I've had Streamlights forever, even back before they had their high lumen stuff. And I've personally never had a problem with a Streamlight. I'm not saying they're perfect, but I've personally never had a problem. I've never had a problem with my Surefire. And I run them and shoot them and all that stuff. But I had 2 problems with Olights. One was the PL2. I put it on a 12 gauge, and this is one of the things that I test when I do all of my lights. I put them on a 12 gauge, and I'll shoot some slugs through it. It's just one of the things I do. Matter of fact, my 12 gauge right here has a Streamlight on it right here. And I'll just test them to see if anything happens. Well, when I shot the PL2, it actually, the whole front of it and the back of it actually came apart. It just split and came apart. and it wasn't loose or anything like that. It actually just blew apart. And so I reached out to them, and that's when I was a reviewer for them. I mean, I was reviewing their products and, testing them and stuff like that. I was never hooked up on their affiliate program. I declined the affiliate program. I just never wanted to do it. And they offer an affiliate program. If you want to do it and hawk their stuff, you can get paid for it. But it actually came apart. So I reached out to them, sent them an email, sent them a picture, said, here's what happened. And then I had another little, can't remember the name of it. It's the little flashlight. It's like the little EDC one you carry in your pocket, the little fat round one, Brigadier or something. I don't remember. And anyway, the button where you turn it on and it's like the turbo mode and all these little things, the button just went dead. I mean, I could push it. I changed out the battery, all that. The button just stopped working. So, and I only ran that. I mean, I used to carry it in my pocket and did all that, kind of tests. I'd leave it on. I would test it out in the backyard and the trees and all that stuff. The button just went dead. So I let them know about that too. And what's funny is I was a tester for them. They never replied to my emails. They never said, hey, we'll send you other ones to test. You just probably got a bad batch. They never said any of that. So I was like, you know what? Screw this. I've had 2 of them fail. The other ones haven't failed, the other brands, and I'm done. So I actually told them to remove me from their testers list. Don't send me any more crap. And I'm not even going to test their stuff or waste my time. That's only my opinion. That's out of all the ones they've sold. That's the problem that I've had with them. So that's why I'm done with them. If you like them and you use them, hey man, do you. Paul, I would definitely agree with that. PPQ and the VP9 are some of the snappiest out there. Matter of fact, I've even said that in my videos. The PPQ has the most muzzle flip out of any gun, any small compact gun that I've shot. And I know that 17 really used to love the PPQs or loved his PPQs. And I told him, I said, man, they are super snappy. The PPQ is. And he was like, no. And then I guess when he really started comparing it to a lot of different guns, then he was like, yeah, it is kind of muzzle snappy. And not that that's a bad thing. It was very controllable and I could shoot it very well. That's just one thing I noticed about it. And I kind of have a feeling when you get that bore axis a little higher, like the SIGs and the PPQs, maybe it's going to raise that muzzle a little bit, maybe. But, this is a good question. With all the recent purchases of firearms and accessories, do you think we'll see many Black Friday sales? What I think we're going to see on Black Friday is we are going to see sales to stuff that it's going to be a lower price, but it's going to be stuff that they keep in stock and that are not in demand, to try to move out product that's sitting. So could it be like maybe some rails or something? They could have some kind of a rail sale, maybe triggers, could be some sales on triggers since there's so many triggers out there and trigger brands. Could be triggers and stuff, but stuff that is in high demand, you're not going to see Black Friday sales on it. And if you do, it's going to be like $2 off or something like that. Because why would you lessen the price of something when it's in super high demand? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. But, who knows? I'm not the manufacturers either. So, all right. Do you set up your red dot instantly for night carry differently than day carry? That's a great question too. What I do is if I'm going to go into a business or if I'm going to go like to a movie theater or something like that, where it's probably going to be dark or darker, I might click the intensity up, just go in and just give it like, maybe 2 clicks. And the good thing, since I carry appendix, I can actually look straight down and I can see my dot. I can just lift my shirt back. Cause in the truck, I carry appendix, but I have the seat belt behind the gun and I have my shirt tail behind the gun. So the gun is completely exposed. It's just sitting there. So if I needed to grab it, in a situation, I just reach down and grab it. There's the gun. So I don't have to lift my shirt up. I don't have to move the seatbelt off. And plus, if you have your seatbelt over your gun and you're in an accident, it's going to force that gun into you. And when the seatbelt locks up, I mean, I've been in an accident before and had to cut the seatbelt off of me because once it engages, it locks physically on you. And with the gun right there at your appendix, you really don't want that during a severe crash to be pushed into your internal organs, so to say, and that's what the seatbelt's going to do. It's going to pin you in that seat. So you don't need a gun there or a holster there to make it worse. So I put the seatbelt behind the gun and my shirt behind the gun. So that's one thing that I do. But that's what I'll do. I can just click it up, I can click it down, and then I know I'm good to go. Now, if I go into that facility and it's darker or lighter or whatever, I might just reach down there under the shirt, give it one more click, less click, whatever, and then I'm good to go. So, you know, is it a perfect thing? You know, could all of a sudden it be pitch dark in there and the lights pop on and then I've got it too bright? That could be a possibility, but you know, you just deal with what you got. So, all right, Keith is asking, what 12 gauge shotgun do I own? I have the Mossberg 590A1. You can check it out on Instagram. It's all orange furniture, bright orange furniture. Like I said, it's right here. So there's it. This is just a broomstick, if anybody wants to know. And there's the light. So, and it's loaded, ready to go. So I have a 590. I have 930s. I have two 930s with +9 Nordic tubes. They're 55 inches long. Both of those are. I have some Wingmasters. I have a Wingmaster collection of 12 gauges or 12 gauge. That one, that 590 is just kind of like the tactical type, you know, whatever gun. I've got some bird guns. I've got a, what is it, a Sweet 16 Browning. I've got a bunch of shotguns. I just don't shoot shotguns very much. I used to shoot them quite a bit when I was younger, and I used to do a lot of pheasant hunting. Big into pheasants, not really dove. And I've never even been goose hunting. I've got two 10 gauge, and one is a punt gun. If you've ever heard of it, it was my grandfather's. It's a 10 gauge punt gun, and I think it's about 6 feet tall. It's, if you know what a punt gun is, it's kind of a family heirloom, and it does shoot. Oh, I do have an 870. I don't like Remington personally because of the finger safety. It's down where the trigger guard is, and I have big hands, so I prefer the Mossberg on the back. That's my preferred shotgun, but you know, it is what it is. Let's see here. All right, Dan, I appreciate you. It said 55 thumbs up. I guess he's either saying everybody give thumbs up or I have 55 thumbs up. I don't know. It doesn't show me that. That's funny. Mike Kai, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I think Big J doesn't like the safety on that. Yeah, you're right. I just said that. I didn't even see your comment. Have I ever done any barricade dry fire practice? Yes. What I do, it's kind of weird. I've got some desk and stuff here in the office that you can't see. And then, of course, my door, you know, doors, I'll actually get behind the door and do that when I'm just going around the house and doing dry fire. And I'll do it here in the office, or, you know, I've even gone outside and do it. But I'll just do it like on the fence, or I'll do it, you know, things like that. It's not a professional way, and I'm not a tactical guy, never claimed to be. I'm not a trainer. You know, I know people know way more stuff than me. I'm not the trainer guy, but I just practice and kind of, you know, do what I do. But yeah, it's amazing. You can actually take your pistol and just kind of, you know, put your hand up against the wall, like in the door jamb, and get a pretty good base that way. So if you had to take out somebody at the front door or something, you could. Hello, Double B. Yeah, the Canik Elite Combat is a nice pistol. I've checked it out and played around with the trigger, and it seems really nice, and it comes with a lot of features. So it's a nice pistol. I've had Caniks, had a couple of them in the past. And I mean, they're good guns. I just think, you know, for liability, aftermarket support, things like that, you know, there's other options out there if you know that you're going to do a bunch of different aftermarket stuff. But on the Combat Elite, it really comes with everything. So there's not a lot you have to do with that. Kathleen shot her P09 today. That's awesome. You know, Kathleen, I don't know. I think he does, but I'm not real sure. I haven't asked him on that. We'll ask him next time he's on. You know, he's got the new house thing that he's squaring away, so he's just tied up this evening. I hope I can entertain y'all. And like I said, I'm gonna try to answer every question I can and give input. But yeah, there's, you know, looking at guns. I know we talked about last week. You know, a couple of guns are coming out, like the Sky with the red dot, single action stuff. But man, there's just not a lot of stuff that's out there. I think everybody is so concerned with ammo and trying to get every single thing they can. And there's, I mean, guns are flying off the shelf too. I've been in, you know, a couple of stores, you know, like sometimes at lunch, you know, I'll run in, you know, if there's a local place, or if I happen to be traveling, you know, I'll go in and see what's going on at these places. And man, people are buying up all kinds of pistols. I mean, not the super high-end pistols, but, you know, the reasonably priced pistols, or like Glocks and stuff like that. They're flying off the shelves. Magazines, you know, I know a lot of people are buying magazines and ammo and stuff like that, loading up. You know, it's just whatever, I guess, whatever they can get. You know, I was in a store the other day and a guy came in and he's like, do I have any shotguns? And they were showing him what they had, but they were pretty much bird guns. They weren't like a tactical type shotgun. And, you know, he was looking for a tactical type shotgun. So he didn't buy it, but I've seen people buying bird guns that normally wouldn't buy bird guns. So just because that's what they have. And I've seen people buying revolvers, and, you know, then they'll ask them, have you ever shot a revolver? And they're like, no, it's just like a regular pistol. And I'm like, nah, don't hold your thumb in the wrong place, because it'll definitely pop it. Let's see here. Yeah, the 92X, that's a nice pistol. It's a freaking heavy pistol. And I've shot it and it shoots nice. Just me personally, I prefer the Shadow 2 even over the 92X, just because of the grip length for me. It's just a longer grip length. I really like the Berettas, don't get me wrong. But with my hand size, you know, it's an XXL. So with my hand size, like when I do mag changes, I have to actually pull my pinky off. Like when I'm gripping it, I have to pull my hand back to load the mag, or I'm going to get this whole piece of meat stuck in the damn magazine. And I've actually had it bleeding before, so it's not fun. But let's see here. Nagels. Have I ever bought anything from Nagels? If so, what do you think of their service? Nagels. Man, that sounds so familiar. If you can tell me where they're located, I can probably tell you if I bought something from. I bought stuff from tons of people, you know, online and stuff like that. If it's Nagels isn't local to me, but I've bought tons of stuff online, so I very well might have. It's just not coming to my head right this second, so I can't really comment on it unless I can remember what the hell I bought. Yeah, Taurus G2 or G3C don't stay in stock long. Haven't thought about buying a Taurus yet. Yeah, you know, I've talked about this before, and I'm not knocking anybody who has the Taurus. I'm not a huge Taurus fan. Personally, they just don't do much for me, but for a price point, they are a heck of a price point. But, you know, you would want to make sure that it works and put a ton of rounds through it. Matter of fact, the gun that you're talking about, you know, my buddy Humble Marksman actually bought that gun and was testing it and doing some stuff, and he had a lot of problems. So if you want to watch his video, it's the Humble Marksman. And I'm not knocking the gun. He could have just gotten one bad gun. But he has a pretty good video of it, and he's got feeding issues. He's since sent it back to Taurus to have it repaired. So we'll see how it comes out. But I'm just not a Taurus fan personally. You know, I think they have made a gun that holds, you know, the proper amount of ammo. I'm just not completely sold on the reliability. I know a lot of people like Triple C and stuff have them, and they claim that they haven't had any issues, and maybe they've been perfect. And you can get a bad gun, you know, from manufacturers, but it's just not my preferred pistol. Bird gun is just fine. Just yell tactics when breaching a door with it. Yeah, like I said, you know, you can use what you got. But yeah, if you really want to take some door hinges off, 590A1 or Remington 870, you know, the tactical ones are definitely set up for something like that. And you can get a breeching barrel. You know, it's got the little, you can look it up, but it's called a breeching barrel. But the 590A1 are so easy to change the barrel. It's a matter of minutes and you're done. So I really just really like Mossberg shotguns personally. And I haven't had any problems with any of mine. Knock on wood. I know stuff can happen, but I personally haven't had any problems with mine. Yeah, I love the P10 pistols. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Humble. I mean, and that's what I talked about with brand loyalty on the last chat. You know, I didn't really want to bring up that video, but that's what I was talking about. People are so married to their brands. I mean, if a gun fails, I don't care if it's a CZ, I don't care if it's, you know, the POF. You know, I had an issue with a CZ way back when, but they got it fixed. It wasn't any big deal. You know, and I had the problem with the POF. They got it fixed since, no issue. But just because you own a gun and yours might have not ever failed or whatever, you can't say it's the best gun. And what's crazy is people were saying, oh, I've got 25,000 rounds through my Taurus G2C and haven't had any problems with it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whatever, dude. You don't have 20,000 rounds or whatever through that piece of shit. You know, and I'm not knocking Taurus, but I don't care. It's man, people they just really go crazy if you say something bad about a gun that they might own. You know, any gun can fail. Doesn't matter what it is. I had a problem with an M&P. I had an actual barrel, a feed ramp on the barrel. This is an old M&P. It was the 1.0 edition, the 9mm full size. I actually had a barrel fatigue on a ramp and it cracked off. So I had a piece missing off the feed ramp. And they actually admitted, hey, we had a barrel issue with some of those, and they replaced the barrel for free, no questions asked. The gun ran like a scalded dog after that. Never had an issue. That's why I always recommend, I don't clean my gun every single time I shoot, but if I'm going to use it for, you know, defensive ammo or defensive or something like that, I'll actually pull it down. I'll just wipe it down, but I actually inspect it. I inspect the barrel. I inspect springs, you know, anything that could be an issue. Because, you know, that's how I found that barrel ramp was cracked, is because I actually pulled it down and I was inspecting it and I was like, holy crap, there's a piece of the barrel or the piece of the ramp missing. You know, it popped off. And I guess it had popped off and fallen down in the, you know, like when I changed a mag, I guess that piece fell off down in there because the piece wasn't in there. It was gone. Or it flew out, you know, when the round went out. I don't know. But that's all I'm just saying. Inspect your gun, inspect your firearm. Just make sure everything's good before you're going to depend on that gun for your life, and put plenty of rounds through it so you know that it will work with whatever ammo you're carrying in it. You know, I know people buy guns, they friggin' buy hollow points, they load it up, and they start carrying it. They haven't even shot it to see if it's going to work. Or if it's even going to like a flat nose or a round nose. I've had guns before that would not feed, period, any flat nose. It wouldn't feed it. It would only feed round nose. So that's how I found out that it didn't like flat nose, was from testing it. Thanks, Rabbi, man. I appreciate you. Like I said, I love doing this, and you're exactly right. Keith Gregory, you're exactly right. The Maverick 88 is a great shotgun for the price. I cannot believe, I think it only has a single extractor where the other ones have the dual extractors. Also, I think for the price point, that gun is dominantly made in Mexico as far as the parts, but those guns run like spotted dogs. I still have a Maverick 88. I don't know, it's in one of the safes. I don't know where the hell it is, but I have one somewhere. And I've had that thing for probably 10 or 15 years, and it's got a crap load of rounds through it. I didn't clean it like I should. I abused the hell out of it. I even just threw it in the back of the truck, in the truck bed without a cover on it. And that thing still ran. I mean, like I said, I haven't shot it in forever or even looked at it in forever, but they're great guns. So Josh was asking a question. when you attend the gun show in Fort Worth, was 20-year-old able to buy Glocks and ARs? No, you've got to be 21 to buy a pistol. ARs or rifles, I think it's still 18. I think now some places on their own, I think, raised it to 21, but I don't think that's an official law yet. And to be honest with you, I'm way over 21, so I haven't kept up with that personally. But I know an 18-year-old that just recently bought an AR, so I'm assuming that you still can. But I know that some places, I think like Walmart was, doing a corporate deal where they were raising the thing. So nothing for okay. Yeah. So I mean, here, like Bald saying, this is Infinity hates flat nose, but hollow point's not a problem. I mean, it's just, you really need to find out what your gun likes, what it doesn't like. But if you're just going to depend on it and, just buy a box of ammo and slam it in the mag and put it in the gun and make it ready and put it in your nightstand, that's not a good thing, especially with all the new gun owners. And I've had some of them reach out to me and say, hey, I'm new to guns. I just bought this gun. What would you recommend? How should I clean it? And things like that. And of course, I'll turn them over to YouTube videos and say, hey, pull up your exact gun of how to clean it. There's tons of videos on those. But, the first thing I always say is try different ammo. Go shoot it with hollow points, full metal jacket, flat nose, things like that. Just make sure it's going to run. And I know with the ammo issue that we're having now, a lot of people don't want to shoot a lot of ammo and waste their ammo. They think it's wasting it. But what you're doing is you're testing that gun to make sure it's going to work. And I've even had people say, I am not going to run a $25 box of hollow points through my gun at the range to test it. I'm just not going to do it. That's too expensive. And I'm like, okay, I'm not your daddy, so I'm not telling you what to do, but I would just recommend making sure your damn gun's going to work. All right. Kathleen uses, she lubes all of her guns with baby oil. What? You're supposed to use Astroglide, not baby oil. No. What I said is I said on my original M&P 1.0 9mm, I'm talking way back when. If you can look it up. They actually had an accuracy issue with some barrels in their first gen 9mm. And my barrel actually cracked. I didn't say that flat nose caused it or round nose or any of that. I'm saying it just physically cracked. A piece of it cracked off. I don't know what it was caused from. That just happened. And they replaced the barrel. They put a brand new barrel in it. What's funny is the barrel that it had in there, even prior to it being cracked, it wasn't super accurate. And I always thought it was me or the sights were messed up. Well, come to find out, they actually had a problem with the barrels not being super accurate, or I guess they weren't trued. And when I got the new revised barrel, it was way better. I mean, it was like where I was, it was point of aim, point of impact. So it was 1,000 times better. And I just had to drop it in. It wasn't, I didn't have to fit it or anything like that. And a lot of the stock or, production made pistols, you don't have to do any fitting. You can just throw them in there and they work fine. Who's your daddy? I can be. No, I'm joking. No, Bald, you don't want petroleum base. Petroleum base is not good. You want the slick stuff. Astroglide's better. Okay, and I actually have been asked this, Scott, so that's funny you brought that up. What do I think of Glock re-releasing the Gen 1 Glock? Honestly, I mean, I guess if you're a Glock fanatic and you didn't get one way back when, that's cool if you really want one. But honestly, I'm like, why introduce something that you already had? Why not come out with something new? That doesn't take any effort. You've already got it. You've already got the schematics to it. You've already got, access to all the parts or the frame. It's just a recreation, so to say, or a re-release, like what you're saying. It's just nothing exciting for me. As y'all all know, I'm not a huge Glock guy. I do really like the 19X and I like the 17L, but I mean, it is what it is. If someone's a real big Glock person and that's what they love, by all means, man, buy it up, use it. If that's what you like, grab it. But it's not for me personally. I have absolutely no interest in it. Yeah. Astroglide for the serious operator. Yeah, hey, if you want your stuff slick, use it. And that's another thing. I have not heard of this product. It was actually sent in to me. It's called Seal 1 CLP Plus. Don't know if y'all are familiar with it. They sent it in for me to test it. And it's like a one-step cleaning. Like I said, I'm not repping it or anything like that because I have not tested it. Haven't even tried it on a gun, but basically, you can rub it in, it removes everything and then kind of builds up like a coating, protective coating on the gun. So I'll be trying that. I'm going to heat up some guns real good, get them good and dirty, and then clean them with that, see how it cleans. And then we'll go from there. But that is one thing that was sent in. I've got a bunch of stuff that has sent in and that I've actually bought. Another thing, I think it was Ohio. It was someone. I'm sorry, I forget their name. But if you go to Lowe's, the Surefire batteries, they have a big pack, but there's none in my area. They're all sold out. But you can get the 2-pack. These are usually like $2.50 a piece. You can get the 2-pack of the Surefire, and these are the 123As, and they're $1.97. So if you go to Lowe's, you can grab these on clearance for $1.97 for 2 of these batteries. And I go through 123s like crazy. So I probably bought like 12 of those. But if you get the big pack, I think there's 10 in there. That's only $8 and something. So that's a way better deal than these little 2-packs. But that's all they had in stock. So I bought all they had. Because I definitely, with the weapon lights, with my handheld carry lights, I go through the 123s like crazy. All right, is American Tactical a reliable producer or firearms producer, considering their bullpup type 12 gauge for home defense and close quarters? Mark, I am not sure on that. I personally have no experience with American Tactical myself, and I don't know anyone of my friends or anyone that I would trust that has messed with them. So I don't want to tell you anything incorrectly. If I don't have an experience with it, I'll tell you that honestly, because I don't want you to buy something and it be garbage. I just don't have any experience with it, so sorry about that. I like to try everything, if I've got access to it or a buddy who has it. They are definitely fun. Okay, this is a great question. Have you had any parts break or any flaws from the factory with your striker fired CZs? How many rounds through your P10F? My P10F has probably about 4,500 rounds through it with 0 issues. My 2 P10Cs, have 2 other P10Cs, and I've had 0 issues with those, and they have tons of rounds through them too. They actually have more rounds, or excuse me, no, both of them do. They actually have more rounds through them than my P10F. So, because I did a P10F 2,500 round update forever ago, and I have shot the dog piss out of that thing too. So, I haven't had one problem, knock on wood, I haven't had one problem with any of the 3 P10, the P10F and the 2 P10Cs that I own. The P10F is the US version because it's optic ready. The other 2 were milled for optics, so they are the Czech Republic ones, but I haven't had any problems with mine. And one of those is it's the very first version. The second one is the Gen 2, and then my optic ready is the Gen 3. So I've got an assortment of all of them. So I have never had the backing plate pop down, and I check that every time I clean it. I try to pull the backing plate off. Never had an issue with it. So they've all been great guns, and I have shot the crap out of those guns. So I feel very comfortable recommending a P10C, a P10F. I don't have any experience with the P10S. I put my hands on it and that thing is tiny as hell. I would never get the P10M. Uh, that seems worthless to me personally, but if you have one or like it, that's cool too. It's just way too small for me. Okay. You seem to favor your striker CZs over your hammers. Actually, no. I mean, I love my Shadow 2. You know, I really like my double single action guns too. It's just, you know, sometimes I'll go through like a striker or double action single action phase and I'll carry those for a long time, like my P10 or PO7 and my PO9. Carry those for a super long time, and then I'll go to the P10Cs. Or the P10F, and then I've carried my Glock 19X. You know, I kind of like to mix it up, my FN509. So, you know, it's just kind of whatever fancies me. I have, you know, on one of the doors, I have multiple carry guns, and you know, one morning I might grab that particular gun, or if I'm traveling for the week, it might be the P10C with a backup mag. Um, there's no rhyme or reason why I do it. It's not that I think striker fires are better, because I love double action, single action. I've carried 1911s forever, the full size, heavy ass 8-shot, you know, 1911s. Carried those forever. Matter of fact, I think one of my first carry gun, well, my first carry gun that I carried was a 1911, and I carried it for years, you know, really kind of before the striker fire scene really came out. So it's, you know, I kind of like to try different things and shoot different things and, you know, experience different things. That way I'm not surprised by any certain trigger. I even carried my 38 snub nose. I carried it for a long time. So, you know, that was way back when. I haven't carried a revolver in shit, probably 15 years or longer, maybe. So, but it's whatever you prefer. But I've got an assortment, so I like to go through my assortment. I don't really have any true safe queens, I guess. You know, I have some guns that are like my Smith & Wesson 439. That was the very, very first pistol I ever got. I got it for high school graduation. And so it really means a lot to me. It's very sentimental. It shoots like a dream, but it's, you know, it's a 1911 style, and I actually have carried it before in a leather holster, because there's no Kydex holsters that I know are made for it, but I haven't carried it forever. I'm not sure if Dan's asking me this, any add-on sights or upgrades. If you're talking about normal pistols, I upgrade a lot of the sights and I'll upgrade a lot of the triggers. People have asked me if I own stock guns with nothing done to them, and yes, I do. Not many, but I actually have them. Yeah, Rooster, I mean, even with the P10C, I have to use at least a +2 extension, just due to my hand size. And sometimes on my P10C and my PO7, I'll actually use a Shield Arms +5 extension. So, you know, it gives me a lot of grip. Matter of fact, with my P10F, when I target shoot it and stuff like that, I carried it a couple of times with the +5 Shield extension. So that's 25 rounds on board, because you're getting 19 and then plus, you know, 5 plus 1 in the pipe. So that's 25 rounds, and I've carried it appendix before, and a lot of people are like, how the hell do you carry that big ass gun? Well, I'm a big ass guy. So, and of course you dress around your gun like we've talked about. Ooh, wow. That's a hard question. Rabbi's asking, which pistol model do you think is the best? Don't overthink it. Your opinion. Okay, which pistol manufacturer I think is the best? I mean, that's kind of like, you know, which kid do you love the most? It all comes down to preference. What I like, someone else might not like. You know, to say that I'm a hardcore fanboy, I really do enjoy CZ. Am I married to them? No. If I had a problem with them, I'd tell you, like I said before. But I really like CZ a lot. Believe it or not, I do like Glock for the 19X. I do like FN for the 509 and the FNS. I'm huge fans of those guns. For everything that you get on an FNS or a 509, people don't realize everything you get on that gun. That's a precision forged barrel. So it's thinner, but it's an accuracy barrel. You're getting steel sights. I mean, it's just you're getting a polished feed ramp from the factory, and those guns are battle. I mean, they are tough as nails. I've never seen one fail. I take that back. On the 509, I did hear of a striker breaking, but Apex has the striker kit for it, which is better. So I've got those in mind. But it's really a preference to what you like. 1911s, I love 1911s too. I'm not really married to just one brand. If I have to pick one, I would probably say CZ, because that's the most popular that I really, really enjoy. And I don't just enjoy it for carry. I enjoy it for competition. I enjoy it for, range toy, things like that. So I guess if I have to pick one, it would be CZ. But like I said, I love other guns too. But it's whatever gun that you're comfortable with and that works for you. Because, some people just don't like, let me rephrase this. On my Glock 19, do I like a stock 19X grip? No, I hate it. Mine has been rounded and custom molded to my hand. The way that they did it is I put my hand on it. He marked it, where my hand was, and then he rounded the edges so it's not like so 2x4-ish. If you want to see pictures, it's on Instagram, but it's more rounded. I've had the finger grooves, not on the Gen 5, but like on my Gen 2 or whatever that 17L is, Gen 3, had all the finger grooves taken off, had it molded. So there's things you can do to it to make it better. Is Glock the perfect grip? No. But you can, get, like we talked about before, you can get other ones to change it out. Yeah, I know that, Scott, I know that things can happen, with firing pins and things like that. That's what I was talking about. The little striker thing is what I meant. But yes, I have heard of some of the 509s breaking. So Apex came out with one that will not break. So that's what I've changed my FNS and my 509 to. So mine never broke. And when I pulled them out, they still looked good. But I have heard of some of those breaking. So that's what Apex came out with, that to fix that problem. It's like a preventative. That's why they came out with it. You can tell use by looking at the barrel to see how much blue is off. They can take a lot of use. As long as it's not cracked or bent, it should be good by. Yeah, if you're looking at used guns, that's one thing I always check is the feed ramp. I don't really worry about the barrel wear. You can look at the front of the barrel and it'll have a smile on it, where it's going, it's tilting up. So you can look at a lot of the smile to see if it's been shot a lot. You can look at the lands and the grooves. You can actually take the barrel out of the gun. I've done this on used guns, taken it out, and I've looked it straight up in the air to see if the barrel shot out, especially on some competition guns, used stuff that I bought. Just inspect it really well, and as long as it works and things like that. If you want, and if they have it, you can actually take a gun. A lot of people don't know this, but you can take a striker fire gun. You can put a pencil in the end of it and hold the gun up in the air, and of course make sure it's not loaded. And you can pull the trigger and it'll pop the pencil up, to show you the firing pin's working. So that's another check you can do. Or you can put in a brand new snap cap, and when it hits it, it'll leave a ding in the snap cap. You can try that too. All right, thoughts, Bagger Bro. Thoughts on the 43X MOS. I think it's good that more pistols are coming optic ready. I think that's going to bring more people into the optic realm, or at least have that option. If it's got the plate, you don't have to put an optic on it. You can have it and shoot it. If you want to put an optic on it, you remove the plate, put an optic on it. If you ever want to take it off, you can go right back. So I think it's great that they are coming out with these options and that they're coming out with the smaller optics, you know, if someone wants to run that. So I think it's good. I mean, options are always good. They're not reinventing the wheel. I already knew a lot of people that took their 43 and they already had it milled for a dot. So now they're just doing it from the factory. The only thing is the Glock MOS has been known to shear the screws, and it's probably the same MOS setup that they have on some other guns. So you want to make sure you get, you know, really good screws. I would probably change the plate out and not go with the stock Glock plate. I think CPS or somebody makes like a really good plate that's not a stamped MIM plate. It's actually like a milled plate where you're getting it perfectly level. Because I have seen guns where people used the stock MIM plate and you could actually see, like, you know, it should be flat, and I could see a little space of air like right under the MIM plate, like it was bowed up. So that could potentially be a problem. But, you know, I would recommend changing the plate, just personally. Yeah, you know, I've had a lot of people ask me, between the PPQ and the VP9, which one do I prefer? Which one do I prefer? And I actually prefer the VP9. I really don't, I'm not in love with either one of them because the grip length are small. However, I do prefer the VP9 because the trigger is actually more forward, so I get better trigger reach. However, the PPQ trigger is better, but I really like the reach on a VP9 just because the whole trigger is more forward. CKM, I would agree with that. The PX4 is ugly, but it is a good shooter. I shot KS's, and it is a very good shooter. Yeah, Rabbi, you don't really want to load. You don't want to really have a round behind that pistol. That wouldn't be good. But that is the way that you can check to see if everything's good. Hey, Manny, thanks. How are you doing, buddy? Well, it's 8 o'clock. CH Precision. Yeah, that's it. And I think there's some other people that make those plates too. It's about that time. If you have any questions, you know, I'll go for a couple more minutes. We can get some more questions in there. I don't really have any more questions. I didn't really go through and write them all down like I usually do. But yeah, if you're enjoying these chats, definitely hit the thumbs up. You know, I really appreciate it. If you've got any questions, you can hit me up on Instagram. Go over there into the messages. I get a lot of them sent to me that way because we can't really do that through YouTube. Or I have a lot of people just go into comments and it won't even be about the video. They'll just say, you know, what do you think about this gun, or what do you think about that gun? And I'll try to answer them there too. But if you ever need to get a hold of me or shoot me pictures or whatever, hit me up over on Instagram. And check me out on Instagram. There's a lot of stuff that I post pictures up over there, and I don't even do reviews, or if I've got a sneak peek of it, I'll throw it up on Instagram, you know, so everybody can see it. And I'll say like testing begins, and that's kind of when I'll know that, you know, that's when I started testing it. And some I'll just show it and just say, hey, I've got these. A couple of things I do have coming in. I've got some stuff from people that I work with quite a bit, and I have been working with for years and years. I've got some new stuff coming in, totally new. So I'm really excited about getting those. One is from Lynx Defense, and the other other ones are from Harry's Holsters. So I'll go ahead and let those out of the bag, but I'm really excited about those. It's going to be some pretty cool stuff, man. We've got some serious thunder happening out there, so I guess we're fixing to have a storm. But yeah, I appreciate all of y'all so much. You know, I'm available. I try to help when I can. I don't know every answer to everything, and I don't have experience on every single thing, but the stuff that I do, I'm always willing to share and help someone. You know, that's what it's all about with the new gun owners and things like that. We don't want to, you know, have them leave us after all of this goes away, or, you know, if the Republicans stay in or whatever. We want them to stay on our side and the 2A side to help make us stronger. You know, I don't really want to ever make anybody mad or anything like that. If there's something flat out that I'm just like, no, I don't like that gun because I had this situation, I'm going to tell you. I'm not very honest. I don't have anything to hide. If there's something I don't like, I'll tell you. and I'll give recommendations. But for me to tell you which gun to buy, I really don't want to do that, because if it's something that fits your hand the best and you're comfortable with it, I want you to be comfortable with what you purchase, not because I told you to buy that. Because, and we all know this, if you go into gun stores and say, hey, and I've even done this playing dumb, I'll go in there and say, hey, just looking for a home defense gun, kind of new to guns. I'll just see what they say. And everybody's like, oh, you need a Glock 19. Come back here. You need a Glock 19. They haven't looked at my hand. They don't know. And when I put the 19 in my hand, it looks like a 43X. It's just tiny. And then, I'm like, this thing's way too tiny. Oh, it'll be okay. Everybody shoots a Glock 19. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, ask people what they're going to use it for. Are they going to carry it? Are they going to use it for home defense? What experience do they have? Find these questions out, ask these questions to give your consumer a better information. Don't just throw them in something and it not be the right thing for them. That's like kind of going into a dealership to buy a car and you've got 6 kids and they go, whoop, you need a vet. You should buy a vet. Yep, that's what you need is a vet. Well, how the hell are you going to get you and 6 kids in there? So buy what is going to work for you and be happy with it. So exactly, Kyla, buy, what you can handle and afford upgrades later, or, buy what you're comfortable with. Okay, that's a great question. If it were me and I already had the G48 and now they came out with the G48 MOS, me personally, I would mill the G48 because you're getting a true milling. It's going to be farther in the gun and it's going to be no plate, because anytime you add a plate, you're adding a failure point. If you can go and mill direct into the slide and have your optics sitting right on the slide and screwed in there, it's direct milling. So there's no plate, there's no longer screw, there's no movement. I prefer direct milling. So I would definitely get the 48 milled. I would not buy the MOS. Now, if you don't have either one of them and you want to save some money, then buy the G48 MOS. That's my opinion. I would take direct milling over any, that's why on my P10Cs, I knew I had already heard they were coming out with the optic ready ones eventually. I didn't wait. I wanted them milled straight into the gun. So vet, Chevette, yep. My shop always asks the hand question. Yeah, I mean, that's a valid question. That's a valid opinion, and also, is your wife going to shoot it? Like maybe they're buying one gun for the home. Is it something that the wife could shoot also? That's why everybody, like for ladies, are like, you need this little tiny gun. You need this cute little gun. Those little guns are miserable to shoot. And I know that, I put my wife behind it and she was just like, this thing sucks. Because a little mouse gun, but then you get her a compact or something like that. She feels comfortable. She actually shoots it better, has more control over it. It's way less snappy. There's all kinds of benefits to having the person asking what they're going to do with it, if they're going to train with it, because if they've got that little tiny gun with that 10-pound trigger pull, they're not going to hit the bad guy. They're going to hit the ceiling, or they're going to hit the person behind them, or hit the car to the right. They're not going to hit the target they need to hit. So make sure that person can shoot the gun. Yes, Banshee, I agree. We all need the DWX. Yeah, Indy Irish, that's what I would do. I think you're going to be happier because it does sit lower. So you're going to even have better co-witnessing and things like that if you want to. Milling company recommendations. Vulcan Machine Works does awesome. That's who milled my STI. They do incredible work and they do a ton of Glocks. Slidework Engineering, they've done my 19X. They're both Texas companies. Of course, Fire for Effect does super work. All 3 of these are Texas companies. I've got videos and detailed information on all of them. So it's really whatever you prefer to do. I know Vulcan Machine Works, he specializes in Glocks and does a ton of them. He does a lot of LE, law enforcement and stuff. So yeah, those are just some ones I personally know. And of course I've heard of Jaeger Works and all these other places. I've just never personally used them, but I know that they have a great reputation. So Yes, I love bull barrels. I have 3 or 4 guns with bull barrels. I even have some with coned, or one with a coned bull barrel. So yes, I love bull barrels. Mm. Yeah, Kyla, tiny gun is for belly gun for intimate interactions. Well, I appreciate it so much. I've gone a little over. Hit that thumbs up. If you have any questions, let me know. I appreciate y'all as always. This will be up on the replay if you want to watch it later. But thank y'all so much and have a great night and carry on, everyone. Thank y'all. Take care.